The opinions and views expressed in the following program are those of the speakers and the host, and do not necessarily reflect those of Yoakley Scott Corporation and your sports network.
Yeah, I've been closer to Jesus before, so can you help me out? Oh, can you help me out? Am I on my own? Am I on my own? But can you help me out? Am I on my own? Am I on my own? Or can you help me out? Can you help me out? I've been scared to look in my soul. I've been afraid I would follow the road. Yeah, afraid of the things I've been told.
And welcome inside a Friday episode of Running Point. We are bursting into the weekend with a lot of energy. Thank you so much for tuning in today. TGIF, am I right? And look at this. Springfield, I got you on. I'm rocking you. Let's go. We'll recap your game from last night. But the Springfield girls, another close win in the regional semifinals. They are one step away from getting back to Dayton into the state semifinals, into the Final Four. So we're rocking with the Tigers. We got you covered. And man, we're so excited that we're going to talk about it. We're going to talk about a lot today. We have recaps from last night. We had boys action go down. We have district championships set now across the board in boys basketball tonight and tomorrow. We had obviously Springfield girls. Spoiler alert, they won. And we will also get some player profiles to clean up once again, some house cleaning as we have this day of calm before the storm as we head into a big day tomorrow. We have a couple of district championships tonight, but even more tomorrow, and of course the regional final tomorrow as well. We have one more Austintown Fitch girls basketball player profile that we have to feature. So we will do that with Lainey Henning today on the show. And that'll be our player profile feature of the day as well. Ty Bartell did a good job interviewing a couple of Fitch players before their season ended, and we want to make sure that every interview we conduct eventually gets on the show. I know we can't, we only have an hour each day, so we can't put everybody on right in the perfect time where we want to, but we want to get everybody featured, and that's one of my goals, is to make sure that people get on Running Point when we can get them on Running Point. So we don't want to leave any stone unturned or any interview not featured on the show. So Lainey Henning, we already did. Destiny McCullough and Ayla Ray, we put them both on Running Points. We have to make sure that we give Lainey Henning some love too. So her player profile will be featured on today's episode of Running Point, and that'll be in the second half of the show after we get through the recaps. We're probably going to do recaps and previews at the same time, and then just roll into it, because we also have to mention and to shout out that there is state wrestling on today as well. In Columbus, we have Chris Colucci and Gary Altizer down there. No broadcast, unfortunately, but we do have a bunch of every other point of coverage you could possibly ask for. Want to remind you guys that if you want live updates on the wrestling going down in the Schottenstein Center in Columbus, make sure to head over to Twitter or X, whatever you now call it, and follow our wrestling account. All caps, or it won't work. I promise. I tried this. YSN_wrestling, all caps, or that Twitter search bar won't bring it up for some reason, one reason or another. So make sure to go follow that account for all your wrestling updates from the next 3 days. It's going to be an awesome 3 days. We hope that we have a couple of state champions to talk about in the next Wrestling Wednesday, which will be the final Wrestling Wednesday of the season. Sad Face, episode 14 is going to be the last one as we gear up for not just the end of the winter, but also the beginning of the spring. We have baseball on the network today too. YSU baseball down in Atlanta at Georgia Tech. 2 o'clock, your first pitch today. They're going to play 4 down there in Atlanta, weather permitting. I've been looking at the forecast. Tomorrow is kind of iffy. They might be able to get 1 game in, maybe, hopefully. I don't know if they'll be able to get 2, but they're scheduled to get 2 tomorrow. And I think a doubleheader, I believe, starts at 1 o'clock tomorrow. So baseball on the network, DJ Oakley and Steve Leslie down there in Atlanta at McNeese Stadium in Georgia Tech, brand newly named McNeese Stadium, formerly Russ Chandler Stadium in Georgia Tech. So we want to wish DJ and Steve the best of luck down there in Atlanta. We hope they have a fun weekend while we hold it down with a bunch of big, high octane and high stakes games going down tonight and tomorrow in boys and girls basketball. So a lot going on. Let's get to the scoreboard and see what went on yesterday, right? Let's hop in to the website. ysnlive.com/scores is where you can find our scoreboard. It is always presented by Burnett Pools, Spas, and Hot Tubs. The YSN scoreboard is a great tool for our fans. Whether you're at one of the games or watching one of our broadcasts, you do not want to look away from the screen for too long. And the YSN scoreboard is a great and easy way for you to get live updates on your favorite teams across the YSN family, whether it be your rival or your friends. We have a team that works very hard behind the scenes to make sure the scoreboard is live updated and you never have to wait till late at night for the final scores to come rolling in. This is presented by Burnett Pools, Spas, and Hot Tubs. As always, proudly presented by them. We are so thankful for their sponsorship and letting us bring you this tool. And it can also be found at ysnlive.com/scores. Boys basketball last night. West Branch. Ooh, man, did they have to sneak this one out against Revere. This is what district tournament basketball is all about. 51-49. The Warriors hold on and advance to the district championship game. Howland is also advancing. They get the close win, 47-44 over Rocky River. The Tigers into the district championship. And, I think this is probably like the biggest. I hate saying surprise because that just makes it sound bad. But if you ask people in the middle of the season, all these teams, in the AAC, who's the team that you would be shocking into the district championship, you probably wouldn't say Fitch. You definitely wouldn't say Canfield. Howland is a team that you'd be like, man, if they get into the district championship, they're really streaking in the right direction. And you watch them during the regular season, kind of inconsistent, kind of up and down. They've had plenty of games this year where they've played poorly for 2 quarters and then they turn it on and come back, and then last 2. Right now, they're playing really good basketball, and that's all that matters. That's all that matters. Everything you go through during the regular season, it is all preparation for this moment. And right now, everything the Tigers did in the regular season is out the window. And it's awesome to see them put it together in the right way and advance one more time. District championship. They're one step away from regionals in Division II. And you realize this, as you look at this, all 3 of these teams, West Branch, Howland, Canfield, all of them Division II, we have the chance to have 3 Division II teams in the Sweet 16, which would be awesome. We had the chance last night for 4. Unfortunately, we'll scroll over and get that Edgewood score. It did not go YSN's way. But we have the chance to have 3 out of 16 YSN teams be in the regional semis if they can get one more win. And we're hoping that they are able to do that. All these teams will play on Saturday in their district championship. Excuse me. And the other interesting thing about this is, as we get the Canfield score, they won 66-47. That game was a lot closer than the final score indicates. Canfield, the last, maybe 3 minutes of the game, really put it in overdrive and ran away with it. But it was, it was under 10 for most of that game. Most of that game, Canfield was just unable to run away from Northwest. Northwest could not punch all the way through. In fact, after Canfield took a lead after being down 5-0, so Fulton Northwest, they got 5-0. They were up. They had momentum to start. Canfield takes back the lead, and from that moment on, Canfield led the entire way. And Northwest never got it within 6. Closer than 6. They got it to 6 a couple of times, but they also never fell behind by much more than 10 or 12. So they were right there. They were staying in striking distance, and I think A little bit of it was they just ran out of gas. Their shots stopped falling. They started to have live ball turnovers that led to easy layups. And then you mix that with some desperation fouls towards the end. Turn this into a runaway for Canfield, but I promise you, there were a lot of stressful moments down the stretch, first 3.5 quarters of this game, where you felt like, Northwest could make a run. They could. All it takes is one little run, and Canfield's in trouble. But the run went the other way for the Cardinals, and they were able to turn this into a game where they weren't sweating down the stretch at all. And they'll be the high seed in the district championship game against Glenville. That'll be the 8 seed Glenville and the 5 seed Canfield getting together on Saturday in Louisville. 7 o'clock is going to be your tip. And that one will be on ysnlive.com. It's part of our pay-per-view package tomorrow. We do scroll over, and as I said, we do have a game that did not go our way in Division 2. Unfortunately, we couldn't go 4 for 4. NDCL was the lower seed in this game, but they are the higher score total by a ton. 70-47, they get the win over Edgewood. And I said it yesterday, and I'll continue to say it. Every sport, I don't care what it is, when you hit NDCL in the tournament, you should move their seed up by like 6 and just say, hey, they're this seed. You can't play them like the seed they are. And you can't go into a game as a fan expecting the seed they are, because they play a brutal schedule in every sport. They're independent. They're in that Chardon area, which is a stock full of talent in every sport, it seems like. So they really are a very tested team. They never have a gloriously great record. They're usually, like in volleyball, which is what they're most known for of late. They always have like 6 or 7 losses on their schedule. But it doesn't matter, because when they get into the tournament, they're just so good because they're the definition of battle tested. So they were the lower seed this time, but I saw that and I said, that's a dangerous NDCL team, and dangerous indeed as they take it to Edgewood, 70-47, the final score. Another tough one for the YSN family as Austintown Fitch falls late to Elyria. This is a game where Fitch had a 3-point lead after 3 quarters of play, but Elyria scores 25 points in the final quarter. 15 points for Fitch. That's like, most times you would love 15 points in a quarter. That's like, especially with Fitch's defense, 15 points in a quarter, you're doing good things. But you don't give up 25 points in a quarter too often when you're Austintown Fitch and the defense they play. But give props to Elyria. They made the right adjustments, and they stormed the gates and were able to finish strong to beat Fitch by 7, 60-53, the final score there. And I think when I wasn't there live, obviously. I was in Louisville for the Canfield game, but I did see the box score. And I think one of the keys that Elyria really did really well is they slowed down Deshaun Vaughn. He only had 4 points in this game. And although Marcel Finkley and Alex and Alan Hill both had really good games for Fitch, all of them were in double figures. It seems like when you're able to slow down Deshaun Vaughn, you can take a little bit of gas out of this team, because he is like the spark plug. He's the one that gives you so much momentum. He makes those crazy plays, the up and under layups or the tough fadeaway jumpers. He's able to do that kind of stuff and give a really big energy to this team. And when you slow him down, even though they have other players that can go and score, and they proved that last night, the energy, I feel like, just wouldn't be there the same if Deshaun Vaughn is having a really tough game. So I think they noticed that, and they said, hey, you know what? This is still going to be a tough game. We're still going to have players that can score. But if we can slow this kid down, then maybe we can just get this Fitch team to run out of gas eventually. And they did. They did in the fourth quarter. Hoban is still alive in their quest for a repeat as they win over Strongsville. They endure a late rally from Strongsville as well. Final score here is 55-54, the closest margin of victory here in the district semifinals last night. And you look at these scores, man, a lot of competitive games. The only one that was not competitive was Edgewood. I know Canfield didn't end competitive, but I already backed that up because it was competitive the whole game. Canfield ended the game on a big run to make it a blowout, but Canfield was very competitive. You look at Howland and West Branch both winning by 1 possession. Fitch was competitive the whole time. They were up by 3 after 3/4 of play. Hoban wins by 1, the closest margin of victory of the night. You can't get closer than that, right? So their quest for a repeat state championship still alive, and the old adage in basketball and one and done tournaments: survive and advance. That's all it takes, and that is what they did last night. They survived and they advanced, and they will move on into the district championship. Now we go into girls basketball. Springfield with the win over Richmond Heights, 34-31. Richmond Heights hit a buzzer beater too. So it was really, it was 34-29. They had the ball, but they couldn't come back from this. There's no 5-point bucket in basketball. So they hit a 2 at the end of the game to make it a 3-point game, but Springfield down the stretch just made the right plays. And they continued to do it. In the district semis, it was a buzzer beater against Badger to win. In the district championship, they had to hold off JFK, and they just made the right plays. And Jamaica Brungard put them on her back in that game, scored 33 points. They won by 2. And in this game, it was once again the key plays down the stretch, being able to find ways to make big defensive stops, being able to find the right buckets when you need them. This is where experience really does pay wonders for a team. They know how to play on this stage. Richmond Heights doesn't. Richmond Heights played a solid game. They were right there. They played really good defense. I thought this would be higher scoring because I thought Richmond Heights would be forced to not be able to slow the game down. But they kind of proved that they didn't need to hold the ball for the whole third quarter to hold teams down to a low score, which is, of course, what they did against Western Reserve. So their defense was actually playing really well. But Springfield, just like I said, making the right plays, making those game-winning type plays down the stretch. This team lost really important seniors last year, and that was the storyline in the offseason coming into the year. And the first couple games when they lost a couple of tight ones, they're like, man, they just don't have that superstar anymore. They don't have that J.C. Mullen Ysn Player of the Year that's going to go off and take a game over. And then all of a sudden, Jamaica Brungard started to be consistent, and she averages, 16 points per game. And you're starting to see, oh, wait, maybe she's that player. And when she's on, she's on. She had double figures last night, scored 10, a big reason why Springfield won. But then the senior stepping up again. 2 out of the last 3. Ava Vecchione has been the team leader in points. She had 12 last night. She averages double figures on the season as well. That senior stepping up. She was not a big part of their offense last year. Last year, Ava Vecchione was the defensive superstar of the Springfield basketball team. She was the one that led them in steals. She had plenty of turnovers forced, and she was also the good ball handler that kept Springfield out of a lot of turnovers as a point guard. This year, she has stepped up her game scoring-wise tremendously. And, if you would have told me at the beginning of the season, this is not a knock to Ava at all, because I think anyone that knows me knows that I support Ava Vecchione a lot. Like, I did a player profile. I love talking to her. She's one of the favorites. But did not expect her to have the offensive season that she's had. I thought she'd just try to maintain the ship on the point guard standpoint and get shooters to basketball. I thought Kerrigan Mullen was going to come on and have a really good year, which she did. I thought Toscano was going to have that good perimeter game, which props to her. She learned how to drive and really take the ball to the rack to, counteract the fact that she didn't have her best shooting season this year. So the Springfield team just kind of proving time and time again that what they lost is not the story to this season. It's what they brought back. They brought back starters that know how to win in this situation, know how to go and get these big time wins, and they're proving it. They're one step away from going back to state, but that step is going to be a big one, no doubt about it. They're going up against top seeded Loudonville. Good friends of the show. I love Coach Bates and what he's doing down there. We talk quite often. I wish Loudonville was a Ysn school so we could get him on the network. I joke with him every season, like, hey, get on the network. We want you on Running Point. I even told him, I said, hey, come on Running Point. We'll do a scouting report on the opponent of our Ysn schools. So I like what Loudonville does. I like their program. They've been successful in girls basketball for quite some time. And that's who Springfield's going to have to go out and beat on Saturday. But if they continue making game-winning plays, they're going to be a tough nut to crack because They're not going to bend under the pressure that the regional final brings. So we're going to have to see how that goes. Tomorrow at 7, Maslin Perry High School. Noah Doty will have the call. I can tell you that Springfield just announced it on their social media accounts that this game will be sponsored and free, just like the semifinal was. Tigers Table going to flip the bill for this one, and we thank them a lot for that, being able to get this Springfield game up and make sure that it was going to be up regardless, but now it's not pay-per-view. So now you can watch it for free tomorrow on the network from Maslin Perry High School, thanks to the great generous sponsorship from the Tigers Table. Noah Doty will be on the call there, 7 o'clock against Laudenville. Winner goes to state. Nothing more exciting than that. We'd love to get another team in state just like last year. And here's a shocker. I mean, just like last year, Springfield, the last team remaining in girls basketball, as they have one more game to get to Dayton. So those are the scores from last night. We'll round up the finals one last time before we go into tomorrow. West Branch wins against Revere 51-49. Howland gets the win over Rocky River 47-44. Canfield beats Canal Fulton Northwest 66-47. Notre Dame Cathedral Latin, they are able to knock off Edgewood 70-47. Elyria knocks off Austintown Fitch 60-53, and Hoban gets the win over Strongsville 55-54. Springfield wins over Richmond Heights on the girls' side 34-31. So now let's transition into our preview section of tonight and tomorrow for the weekend. And as we go into tonight's scoreboard, we see that it's boys basketball district championships in divisions 3 and 4. South Range and Mooney meeting in Salem tonight for the district championship, and then Heartland Christian and Warren JFK meeting in Grand Valley for the district championship. Those are two all YSN matchups in boys basketball. We cannot be more excited. We're guaranteed a win, right? That's what we love. No matter who comes out of it, we're guaranteed a win. Two teams in these district championships going for their program's first district championship. South Range has never won a district championship in boys basketball. They're trying to do that for the first time against Mooney. It is the 12 seed South Range against the 4 seed Cardinal Mooney Cardinals. And Heartland Christian has advanced to their first district championship. So they're obviously trying to get their first district title against Warren JFK, also against the top seed Warren JFK. Want to remind everyone that Josh Scott got his 200th career win on Tuesday as a part of their district semifinal win over Bristol. So congratulations. I know 200 is sweet, but 201 would be even sweeter for him, as that would mean a district title. Warren JFK, they've been the cream of the crop in Division 4 all year. Seems like every time they play a Division 4 team, they dominate. They've been scheduling up all year as well. They played really tough teams. They've had a couple of tough losses because of that, because of the really brutal schedule they have. So they're well tested, and they have so many players that can beat you. I mean, this Heartland defense, I do not envy the game planning on trying to stop JFK because, hey, we're going to slow down Nick Ryan. Well, hey, Michael Condolian can go off. Okay, let's stop Condolian. Well, they have Seminaro who can go off. Well, let's stop him. Oh, well, they still have Jane Richel down low who can go off at any time as well. So 4 players that are very, very capable of going into double figures. Not easy to defend, and they all do it in different ways, too. It's not like they have 4 shooters or 4 post players or 4 players that love to drive. You have to be able to defend everything if you're playing Warren JFK, and they're hard to slow down. But look at this Heartland Christian defense and the way they've been playing in the tournament. Slowing down Bristol, slowing down Badger. They held Badger to under 60 points. That's impressive when you have Duncan Moy, who averages well over 25 per. To slow them down and say you're not going to score more than 60, that was impressive. And then to hold the Bristol team down on defense. So Heartland's defense has really been the superstar of this tournament so far. And they have to have it again because they could not get into a scoring duel with Warren JFK. They need this game to be, I think, in the 50s at least. They would probably even love it if it was in the 40s for JFK. But if JFK gets into the 60s and 70s, the chances that Heartland have go significantly down, in my opinion. Now, with my luck, I'll probably come on Monday and I'll see a score that has like Heartland Christian and JFK both in the 70s or something. And they'll be like, wow, look at that. We told you we could score with them. And sometimes when you're in sports media, you make the best prediction you can, but sports has an unpredictability factor, right? So sometimes you look like an idiot, and sometimes you'll be blasted because of it. If I'm blasted by Heartland Christian because they're able to score that much, I will take it. I root for Ysn Sports, so if they're able to go off and score 70 right with JFK, then tag me, put me on blast. I love it. That's what sports media is all about. You got to have the thick skin. You got to be able to take teams putting you on blast a little bit. South Range and Mooney, when I talk about this game, they're both so similar. They both have a really good shooter. Rocco Turner and Luke Rowan can both really go off from the perimeter. I think they both have your takeover guy in Ashton O'Brien for Mooney, who can do a lot of things Landon Moore can. I think those two players are very, very similar. There's no really Eddie Neves on South Range, and I think that's why he might be a key factor for Mooney. I think Landon Moore is kind of like he's a hybrid of Ashton O'Brien and Eddie Neves a little bit. Neves is going to have size on him. Mooney's going to have the size advantage tonight. The one other factor I think that Mooney is going to have, Jabri Carter against Nate Lewis, I think is going to be a big matchup in this game that not a lot of people are talking about because they're both such good point guards. I think that if I had to list the top point guards in the YSN family, they would both be in the top 5. I think Jabri Carter would be number 1. I've said that before. I think he's the best point guard we have at YSN. I think Nate Lewis is top 5, especially when he's healthy. He had to miss a couple of games in the middle of the season. They really missed him in that Ursuline game. They went to Youngstown for it in the middle of the season. So now that he's healthy, he's back, he's 100%. That's a big aspect of the South Range team that I think a lot of people overlook. His ability to not always score, he can score, but his ability to just get the Raiders in the right position to win, I think is big. And then you go into the other players. I mean, Dylan Turvey can go for South Range, and you can have Nick Pregabon go for Mooney. Those two are going to be going at it. It's going to be a fun one. Both these teams are so well put together, and they have such balance, and they have players that just do the right thing on the right side of the game. They're both well coached. Kerry Palermo doing a great job, always does a great job, and I think Pat Carden is doing a phenomenal job for South Range in his first year as head coach. That was a tough environment to come into. Everything they went through last year, and TJ Irons comes in and rights the ship and gets them to a district championship game. To have to replace kind of that atmosphere and say, okay, we're going to come in, we're going to send a change stuff and bring in a great staff, mostly made up of Springfield guys. That was him. It's a real impressive job that Pat Carden has done this year. And I will also stand that he looks almost identical to Richie Giuliano, by the way. If I need to side by side, because every time I talk to Pat Carden, I'm like, am I talking to Richie? Miss you, Richie. If you're listening out there in Tennessee, we love you, buddy. And we wish you the best of luck in everything that you're doing. But yes, I think both these teams are just so evenly matched. I'm really interested to see what's going down and who's going to come out on top. I think it's just going to be what playmakers show up. They both have them, right? So which ones are going to show up big? Which ones are going to have that kind of championship style game? Is Landon Moore going to show up big for South Range? Is Ashton O'Brien going to show up big for Mooney? Those two have been the staple in the tournament so far. They both have had really big tournament games for Mooney. Landon Moore scored 24, in the semifinal win over Perry. They didn't have a lot of help from his supporting cast, and I think they're going to need it if they're going to beat Mooney. He had 24. No one else is in double figures. So I think they need to get other people going. I don't think this is going to be a one-man show for South Range, but I like the fact that they're able to have that. I talked about it on Wednesday when Scotty brought up, the whole debate over one player that's really, really good or a team that's, has a bunch of players that are just good and you don't have that superstar. I like having a guy that can take over when you have to. We need points. We need to take over mentality, and he can do it. Landon Moore can do that. In times when South Range is struggling on offense, Landon Moore can take over a game. But they're also really balanced. So I like and Mooney's the same way, by the way. Mooney's the same way. Because Ashton O'Brien can take over a game, but they can also have a lot of balance. So I like the fact that these two teams are made up very, very similar, and I can't see one having a huge edge over the other. This should be a really good district championship in Salem, and it's going to be fun to watch. So that is tonight. Just 2 games, both of them on pay-per-view. Well, actually, I should say only one on the network, because the other media companies are covering the other one, so we won't have room to broadcast in Salem. So we will have the Heartland Christian JFK game live for 9 to 9 tonight. Playoff basketball. Well, we will have representatives at the South Range game and reporters, and we'll have interviews and all that fun stuff. We just will not, unfortunately, have a broadcast. Let's go into the Saturday slate and preview the weekend. Springfield going up against Laudonville, top seed in Laudonville regional finals, and the winner goes to state and girls basketball. That one at 7 o'clock. That one will be free for charge from the sponsorship from the Tigers table down there at Springfield. We thank them for their sponsorship. Noah Doty will be on the call there. Then we have a slew of district championships on the boys' side on Saturday. These will be pay-per-view, and 9 to 9 will get you access to all of them. Louisville taking on Glen Oak. Hoban is going to be going up against Brecksville. You have Notre Dame Cathedral Latin against Ursuline. That should be a real fun one. I'm looking forward to that. NDCL, as we said, very underseeded and a very tough team. We have Warrensville Heights taking on West Branch. We have Howland going up against Lutheran West. That's the 1 seed in Division 2. Canfield going up against Glenville. That's 5 versus 8. Canfield the 5. And then last but not least, East Liverpool has a matchup with Tri-Valley on Saturday as well. That one's going on in Claymont, and that is in a different region as well than all of our other Ysn schools. So if you're looking for East Liverpool in the region where you find all these Northeast brackets in Division 2, you won't find them. East Liverpool is in the East 2 bracket, down on one region below ours. So I know East Liverpool is kind of hard to find on the state bracket when you're so used to conditioned to look for the other 2 regions and the Northeast districts. You forget almost that East Liverpool is on the East bracket, not the Northeast bracket, but the East bracket. They will play in Claymont against Tri-Valley. So that's your slate. Pay-per-view for the boys' games and free for the girls. Let's get over the announcers that will be out and about on Saturday so you know who's covering what. We have Noah Doty at the girls' game at Maslin Perry of Springfield versus Laudonville. The Louisville crew that has been following them since they came back to the Ysn family, Bob Burke and company, they'll be in Alliance for their matchup with Glen Oak. Ty Bartell will be at Elyria for Hoban's district championship against Brecksville. Tim Corso and Chris Ziegler are both going to be on the call in in Warren Harding as Ursuline takes on NDCL. Sam Torres going to be on the call as West Branch goes up against Warrensville Heights at NDCL. Dom O'Brien making the trip to North Ridgeville to cover Howland and Lutheran West in that district championship. I will be back in Louisville for Canfield's matchup with Glenville. And then Gary Burton and Scott Rogers going to be on the call as East Liverpool takes on Tri-Valley at Claymont. So all those games will be covered tomorrow. Tonight, Dom O'Brien's on the call for Warren JFK and Heartland Christian. I want to remind everybody that also YSU baseball on the network today as well. That'll be at 2 o'clock, YSU at Georgia Tech. One of 4 games over the weekend scheduled. DJ Oakley and Steve Leslie are down there in Atlanta in the 404 to see the Yellow Jackets and Penguins go do battle. So we are going to take a break as we have now previewed everything that we have to preview. When we come back, we will have a player profile from Austintown Fitch girls basketball in Lainey Henning, the last of our player profiles from Fitch. And we will feature her interview after this commercial break on Running Point, brought to you as always by our good friends over at Greenwood Chevrolet in Austintown.
21 News delivers the news as it happens, using the latest technology from where it happens.
Live here outside the Mahoney County.
On air, online,
Wednesday afternoon weather update.
Very dangerous.
and on the 21 News social media platforms.
I'm on the road right now.
21 News, the Valley's only locally owned source for trusted news since 1953.
Craftsmanship to us is 60 years of pride and dedication.
Passed down from generation to generation.
The hardwood floors that your kids take their first steps on.
The solid wood doors you quietly close at night.
The things we create day in and day out are the products that end up turning your house into a home.
At Baird Brothers Fine Hardwoods, uncompromising quality and craftsmanship built our business.
And it will keep us moving forward for generations to come.
Going the extra mile at Greenwood Chevrolet means we want to take care of the community that takes care of us too.
And we have to work together always. And that's how you stay in business for 40 years.
You know, I love being a helper because when I help somebody, it makes me feel good.
It means a lot that I can make a difference in others' lives.
So I will do everything I can and just being there for them every step of the way.
I want them to know within the first 5 minutes that they could depend on me. That's what going the extra mile means, only at Greenwood Chevrolet.
Before the lights come on, before the workday begins, before a long day is ended, or it's time to have fun. It all starts with the people at Joe Dickey Electric. From replacing a light fixture in your home to building a substation for your business, no job is too big or too small. The people of Joe Dickey Electric power them all. Joe Dickey Electric, over 60 years of powering the Mahoning Valley.
Sheely's is more than a furniture store. We're a hub for all of your appliance needs. We offer the widest selection at everyday low prices, with over $1 million of in-stock inventory from Whirlpool, KitchenAid, LG, GE, and more. Our knowledgeable, no-pressure sales staff can help you find the perfect appliances for your home. We're there for you beyond your purchase to service what we sell and offer free local delivery with 24-month special financing. Sheely's, the best things in life happen at home.
House troubles can attack anytime. When trouble strikes, call Mighty Mike. Your hometown hero is on his way. HVAC causing havoc? Has your furnace gone mad? Mighty Mike Heating and Cooling will save the day. Commercial or residential, 24/7. For quality service you can depend on. Call your hometown hero. Call Mighty Mike.
Hi, I'm Colin Chupa.
And I'm Kelsey Clem from K-Squared Marketing.
Our boutique marketing firm specializes in media planning and buying, public relations, event marketing strategies, and strategic sponsorships.
We can integrate our services with your existing game plan, or we can be your entire marketing team.
Your goals, our game plan.
Let's win together. Call K-Squared Marketing at 330-623-2730 or visit ksquared.marketing to learn more.
Why choose local? Because you live here, work here, learn here, relax here, and celebrate here. 21 WFMJ is our Valley's only locally owned TV station, and our focus is local. Other TV stations don't have that same focus, as their owners are somewhere else. But 21 WFMJ is rooted in the Valley. Local people making decisions that affect your life, right here where you live.
Ty Bartow with another edition of Player Profile. This time we head over to Austintown Fitch with one of their seniors, Laney, heading us. Player I've always described as a bruiser in all aspects of the game of basketball. Laney, how are you doing today?
I'm doing good. How are you?
I'm not doing too bad. I guess let's first foremost start about what's been going on recently. You guys just won a sectional final, and only the second sectional final in the last 30 years for the Falcons girls basketball team. it had not a ton of success recently, but you guys, this is a huge first step for what maybe is to come too. In senior season, you guys are able to help make that first step. Talk to me a little bit about just what you're feeling after getting that win against McKinley too, knowing you guys are having that trip to districts in your senior year.
I mean, yeah, it feels great because that was our goal from the beginning. The coaches asked us, like, what was our goal? And we said to get past a tournament round. So we finally did that, and we all feel amazing, but it's not done yet. We still got Tuesday.
Let's talk about too your basketball story, where it kind of started in the beginning. Let's go back to chapter 1. What's some of the earliest basketball memories you have? When did you first get involved with the sport, and when are some of your earliest memories of the sport?
Yeah, probably from the Y. I think I started like 4 or 5 years old, and I was playing with A. Ray, so those are some great memories. We were on the same team for probably a couple of times there, so yeah, I would say probably that was the earliest I can remember.
What was it about the game that kind of made you stick with it too? Because I mean, you said you started at the Y. Well, it made you go into the school realms and give it a shot in high school.
Yeah, and it's the friendships. Just going in with the friendships and everything, and just having the love for the game. It was always fun to me.
What do you think the game's taught you? Some of the biggest things the game has taught you personally?
Being confident in yourself and making sure you have a plan going into a game, but not getting too hard on yourself, as well.
Do you have some of the favorite memories that you have along the way with the game? What's some of the ones that kind of stick out in your memory too of some of your faves?
I'd probably say, us beating Boardman. I think it was last year or so. That was a good one for us. And in my middle school year, first time being Canfield, that was a great feeling with our team. That was 8th grade year, I'm pretty sure. So
it's those type of things too that stack up and really kind of give you that love for the game overall.
Yeah.
You talk about this sport too and how you've progressed. It's senior year. You're one of the leaders for the team this year. What's the biggest thing you've learned about yourself in being a leader?
I'll probably say, a lot of like the younger girls, they do look up to us. So making sure I'm there for them. And if they ever need anything, they can always come, and just having my team held at a good standard. And we're always making sure we're pushing ourselves in practice and everything.
What's something that you, I guess senior, since you're senior, what's something senior Laney would say to maybe freshman or 8th grade Laney Henning about getting into the sport?
I'd probably say, just take it slow. Don't try doing everything. And make sure you have confidence in yourself. If you mess up one time, don't let your head hang. Just get right back up and you'll be good.
I feel like you play with a ton of confidence too. I describe you as a bruiser type of player too, where you're not afraid of contact. You're not afraid to get down and dirty. What gives you the fearlessness on the floor, game to game, to just give it your all, let everything go too, and then sacrifice, I guess, life and limb on every play.
I don't know. It's just kind of that mentality you have to have. You just got to go in there saying, I'm gonna go give it my all, right? Whatever it takes. I get on the ground, getting some bruises. I mean, it's just a couple of bruises. They'll go away. And that's just fun about it. That's what's fun about basketball. Getting on the ground, getting those loose balls, and just getting physical.
You're the type of player too. They'll put you on the mismatches. You'll get on a lot of big post players too, and you show fearlessness. What prevents you from being intimidated by the big post players that might have the size and height advantage on you?
Yeah, I think I actually kind of like playing on big people. I don't mind it. I think it's fun. I mean, sometimes they get a couple buckets, but you just got to keep working. It's fun playing against those type of people because those are great players as well.
I think for your entire high school journey too, I think it's been interesting because you've had this unique experience of having a different head coach at that varsity level for all 4 years too. So you get different perspectives along the way too.
Yep.
How has that been for you for 4 years in high school too? I'm sure you've had to kind of keep that kind of open mind and an open perspective, but in the same breath, you've probably learned a lot of different cultures, a lot of different styles of basketball.
Yeah. It was tough for us having 4 different coaches all of our 4 years, but you just have to I don't know what the word is, but just go with it. Like you're learning new things, but I mean, Coach Racek, he's our head coach now. He was there my freshman year, my junior year, and now here. But he was just always there to talk to. So if I ever need anything throughout those years, I'd go talk to him. He was there for me.
To kind of keep tooting, I guess, Coach Racek's horn a little bit too, because I know he talks so highly of you girls too, and he cares so much about the program too. What has his coaching style been like? Kind of take us into the practices too. What it's been like playing under him, and what his kind of style coaching is like.
Yeah, we have some physical practices. He likes to get physical, make sure we know how to be that type of player. And it's all love with us, but when we're like in the practices, we go hard. But after practice over, we're all cool. So
I love how deep the Falcon basketball family runs, because I know it goes deep into the middle school and even into the elementary school. And you see these girls, they come to all the games too, so they look up to you. What's some advice you give to those younger girls that see you, maybe your play style, want to be a Lainey Henning, want to be that fearless player, or maybe just those girls that want to continue with the sport like you did and get into high school realms?
Yeah, there's definitely gonna be some bumps in the road or whatever, but you have to get over that. I mean, you got to know there's gonna be bumps. You just got to keep pushing, keep your head high, and just listen to the advice the coaches give you. It is gonna be hard, but once you get through all that, get through that door, it's going to be worth it all in the end.
We talked about the advice you'd give yourself if you were if senior Laney talked to freshman Laney. What's the biggest thing you think you have improved on, though, from freshman year to senior year, that when you look back at the 4 years in high school?
I would say my defense, because once I got getting there on the defense, it turned into my offense, and then my offense is still a little iffy, but that's definitely helped me also on my offense.
You talk about you, and you're the type of player too that you're willing to do anything in any given night too. You'll fill up the box score in certain categories, but you always talk about that defense and being defensively grounded too. Over the course of this season, you guys have had some ups, you guys have had some downs. How have you, as being in your leadership position, kind of helped that team stay even through the ups, through the downs too, and get to where you guys are now?
Yeah, we had that we were doing good in the beginning, and then it kind of went down a little bit, but we all just had to keep saying, playoffs are going to be here. We just got to keep pushing because we know we have that in us. So, and it showed this past week that it was still there. It just needed to be brought out in us somehow, but it got brought out in us. I think from the coaches, some of the conversations they had with us as a whole, that flicked the switch in us somehow.
Talk about a little bit about your mentality going down to Massillon. Perry Snow Monroe Falls is next up, district semifinals. What is your personal mentality going into district your senior year?
Just being calm about it, not trying to have as much nerves. I mean, it is a little nerve-wracking, but staying cool, collective, and once I get on the court, I got to give it my all.
When you have away games like this, what's a typical game day routine look like for you starting? Does it start in the morning? Does it start right before you get on the bus? What does the routine look like for you?
I'll probably go get some food, maybe like some Chick-fil-A. I'll have music in, listening on the bus. I think it's about like an hour away or so. So I'm gonna try to make sure I stay awake on the bus. I'll have some music in and just thinking about what I'll do in the game and everything.
What's some of the music you're listening to when you have that legendary chicken sandwich on your side?
Probably I like Drake, music around there.
No doubt.
I listen to like whatever, maybe not too much of country, but I'm like an everywhere type of person with music.
Are you the type that needs something that kind of that mellows you out, calms you down, or you need something to amp you up?
I need something to amp me up. I like that type of music before I'm going into a game.
I was gonna say you seem the type of player that gets wound up and shot out of a cannon, no doubt. So I felt like you're the amped up type of music player. Lady, I don't want to let you go too, and I don't want to go any further without giving you that opportunity to just shout out your support system. Shout out the people that have been there for you along the way, and that you couldn't have done this basketball journey without.
Yeah, definitely my mom. My mom's been there ever since I was 4 and going to tournaments and everything. She's been there through it all. Also my coaches, my teammates, whenever I need someone to talk to, they are always there and they'll always push me. Even if I have some bad days or something, they just say, Lenny, tomorrow's a new day. Come in here doing something different. So definitely to all of them. They've always been there for me. So I appreciate all of them.
We appreciate you as well taking the time out of your day to give us a
Thank
little bit of a profile on what you have to offer for the Falcon community. Before we let you go, though, I also want to talk about maybe some future chapters too that are left to write.
Yeah.
What's the plans like after high school's all said and done?
Well, I didn't plan on going like to college for basketball or anything, but I had this one coach reach out to me, so I'm gonna go, see where it takes me, and hopefully I still want to keep going, and hopefully that coach like brings that out in me.
I was hearing rumblings of this, so I wanted you to be able to talk about it too. And I'm so excited for you to have that opportunity.
Yeah.
What was your mindset like when you realized that you have that opportunity that less than 10% of athletes have at the high school level to be able to continue it at a collegiate level?
I thought of it like as a blessing. I said this coach came out of nowhere, give me an opportunity, so I'm gonna go give it my all and see what I get.
Like you have done your entire life, Laney, no
Yeah.
doubt. And we're so excited for you. Get one more thing. You got to shout out the Falcon family, Falcon Nation, and tell them why they need to get out to Maslin Perry for you guys.
That's they need to come out. That's gonna be a good, tough physical game, and I love when people out there, especially the boys, come because they're always rooting us on. They get loud sometimes from the other games, so I like hearing that because then I think it gives us some energy, gets us going too.
Well, Annie, we here at YSN are no doubt rooting for you. We wish you nothing but the best of luck. Congratulations on a successful senior season, and I'm sure we'll be talking to you again real soon.
All right, thank you.
No doubt. This has been a first edition of Player Profile with Falcon Senior Laney Henning.
See ya.
That was Laney Henning from Austintown Fitch, our final Fitch Falcon player profile of the basketball season. Don't worry, we'll keep our coverage of Fitch rolling into the spring as baseball, softball, and track heat up here pretty soon. But man, what a great season Fitch has had, and Ty Bartell, want to thank him for his time in getting those interviews set up. I was the one that interviewed Dustin McCullough, but he did Ayla Ray and Laney Henning, and I want to thank him for his extra time that he's putting into making sure these kids get interviewed too. So Ty Bartell with Laney Henning, what a great job those two did in that interview. Great conversation with one of the seniors from Austintown Fitch. We hate to see her go, but we know she's going to be doing great things in her future endeavors. I want to end this show by saying the best of luck to our wrestlers over the weekend, and a reminder that if you want to keep up to date on how all the YSN family wrestlers are doing, make sure to head over to Twitter or X, whatever you call it, and check out our wrestling account, all caps, YSN_wrestling. We'll have you covered for the entire weekend down there in the Schottenstein Center in Columbus. Gary Altizer, Chris Colucci, both down there. They're going to have interviews. They're going to have live updates, pictures, all that fun stuff from the Shot in Ohio State. So make sure to follow them on Twitter. Once again, all caps, or it won't work. I've tried it. YSN_wrestling on Twitter. Make sure to give them a follow. And once again, good luck to all of our wrestlers going down in state this weekend. Want to wish the best of luck to also our basketball teams in district championships tonight and tomorrow. And of course, the Springfield girls. I'm rocking you. I got you. All right. Final four. Let's get right back to it, Tigers. I got the Tiger too. It's not a Springfield Tiger hat, but it's the best I can do. We're rocking with you. We hope that you get into the Final Four and have a return trip to Dayton. It would be a blast if you were able to. Good luck to Springfield in the regional finals against Lawtonville. All of our games can be found at ysnlive.com/live. And a good reminder that one payment of $9.99 is all you need to get access to all the games we have per day. If it's anything more than that or a subscription, reminder, do not fall for it. We have no subscription set up right now, so you don't have to subscribe for anything. And if it's not $9.99, it's not us. So there's a lot of pop-ups and fake links that get put on our social media accounts. Don't fall for any of that. One payment, $9.99. That gets you access to all the tournament games that we have on the network. Thank you so much for tuning in today. I hope you enjoy your weekend. I hope we have a lot of state champions in wrestling. I hope we get some teams in the regionals for the boys, and I definitely hope that we get a girls team in the state. So good luck to everybody once again, and we will see you all on Monday to recap all the action on Running Point.